One of my favorite things about the Star Wars movies are the deleted scenes. Now, a lot of them are deleted for various reasons. Pacing, the special effects weren't right, they couldn't find a fat enough Irishman to play Jabba the Hutt, and you can see a lot of these on things like Deleted Magic and on some of the actual Blu-rays. Heck, here on YouTube you could watch a lot of them. One of the most notorious ones is the scenes of Luke growing up on Tatooine, where he observes the battle between the Tantive and the Devastator. And then, of course, there's the scene where he starts making out with his binoculars afterwards to show them how much he appreciates them. And then, of course, all that stuff with Biggs, when he goes toe-to-toe with the Tusken Raiders and then fights the Incredible Hulk. Now, some of these scenes were cut, as I mentioned, because the special effects just didn't look right, and it's probably a good thing that they were reshot or re-edited. And as I mentioned about that overweight Irishman that used to play Jabba the Hutt, well, maybe it would have been better if they just kept him in like that. I kind of want an action figure of him. This was one of those notorious scenes that got updated into the special editions with new CGI Jabba the Hutt, and then, of course, George Lucas couldn't stop tinkering with it and kept redoing Jabba the Hutt over and over again until I guess he felt he got it right. Other scenes from the first edit of Star Wars wound up in the holiday special because, hey, when you have clear footage of things like Mos Eisley or Darth Vader walking around the Death Star, why not use it if people haven't seen it before? It's one of the more better parts, I guess, of the holiday special. The reason so much of the footage of Luke got cut is because the producers wanted the main character introduced very early in the first few minutes. Lucas didn't feel that way, and it's a good thing that Richard Chew, Marsha Lucas, and Pearl Hirsch also didn't feel this way, because when they came and magically re-edited the film and turned it into the movie we all love, well, one of the things they did was edit out all of this extra Tatooine. Well, and other things like this.
Action. Charlie?
Wow, wasn't that amazing? Yeah, okay, it's pretty obvious why that scene wound up in the cutting room floor. But yeah, a huge chunk of the deleted scenes involving Biggs and Anchorhead and Luke and all of that was cut for the flow of the movie, and it was actually closer to what George Lucas wanted. There's a great YouTube video called How Star Wars Was Saved in the Edit. I'll link to it at the end. I didn't make it, but it's fantastic. You should check it out. It talks about this in detail. What I want to talk about today is a scene that did get cut, or rather a dialogue edit, that, well, really changes things up. And it's one that goes to the heart of the main conflict of Star Wars, the Jedi versus the Sith. It occurs during the Death Star briefing scene, which was captured in an awesome Saga Collection action figure set. Here's the scene from the movie.
Until this battle station is fully operational, we are vulnerable. The Rebel Alliance is too well equipped. They're more dangerous than you realize.
So when Lucas's top editors came along, including his wife there in the middle, to re-edit it, a big thing they did was just cut out small chunks of dialogue here and there in order to make the scenes go faster. A good example is the scene of Luke and Obi-Wan in Obi-Wan's hut. It was completely rearranged, which is why we see C-3PO moving around even after he has shut down for a while. If you go back and rewatch this, you can tell. And the dialogue was just moved around to make it kind of flow better, but the background characters also moved. All right, so here's what I want to get to. The most important deleted scene from the original Star Wars movie that, well, is pretty mind-blowing.
I tell you, he's gone too far. This Sith Lord sent by the Emperor will be our undoing. Until this battle station is fully operational, we are vulnerable. The Rebel Alliance is too well equipped.
So what you can see is it was just a little bit of dialogue that was removed from the beginning of the scene, but they mention the Sith, like the arch enemies of the Jedi, right there in the 1977 film. A lot of people think this was a new concept that came along with the prequels, since the first time we actually heard the word Sith uttered in a theater on screen was in Phantom Menace in 1999.
The conclusion can be that it was a Sith Lord.
Impossible. The Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
And the whole concept of Jedi versus Sith has actually become the backbone of Star Wars marketing ever since this. It's an easy way to understand the two factions, and it can be used both for animation and for merchandise. I mean, we have entire action figure sets just called the Sith. Although, was Kylo Ren Sith? I thought he was a Knight of Ren, whatever the heck that is. Was that even ever explained? I mean, I didn't read all those extra books that came out for the Disney movies, but anyway, it's not important. The point is that the dichotomy between Sith and Jedi has been a huge part of the franchise, especially since the prequels, but most people had never heard of this until the prequels. But it was there the whole time. It was in the original cut. It was just part of the little tiny snippets of dialogue that got cut out by the editors to make it flow better. Now, the original radio drama, which is one of my favorite things of Star Wars, actually brings this scene back, and you hear that same dialogue. In fact, Sith is mentioned twice. It's mentioned both in that Death Star briefing room and in the hallway scene when Darth Vader starts interrogating his daughter, even though she's not his daughter at that time. She's just, Leia Organa, senator. She also addresses him, Darth Vader, only a Sith Lord could be so bold. So we get Sith dropped quite a few times and name dropped. The concept of Darth Vader being the Dark Lord of the Sith was always there. And the fact that it's right there and it was recorded and was part of the original Death Star briefing scene, I think is honestly one of the most important deleted scenes ever. It's a core part of who Darth Vader is. It's a core part of what Star Wars is all about. Yet it didn't come out to really mainstream public awareness until the prequels. But if you go and you read the original novel that Alan Dean Foster ghost wrote for Lucas, or watch the radio drama, or these deleted scenes, you'll see the Sith were always part of Star Wars. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, the best way to support this channel is to share this video. Thank you so much for being part of the channel. Thanks for your comments, and I'll see you guys next time.